Now, Debbie is from the community education. No, she's from the Shy Wolf Sanctuary and Education Experience Center, and she is the community education coordinator. Okay. And this is pretty cool. So thank you so much for coming on and coming in. Your location is in Naples, right?
Correct.
So
I feel so bad that I have not heard about this. So I'm grateful to have you on so that other people can hear about it. So are you ready to get started? Because I'm going to be taking over today for a lot of this.
Right. This is very much a Kim show.
Relief.
Right.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved and about Shy Wolf in general.
Sure. Well, thank you very much for inviting me. First of all, this is very exciting. A lot of fun today. I am Debbie from
Smile because your husband
Wait a second. What part of New York are you from?
Yeah, so I am from Long Island,
Nassau
County.
Yeah.
We were talking a few minutes ago. We do have still a little place up in upstate New York around the Saratoga area.
Oh, very cool.
Off the Vermont border.
Yeah, where the racetrack is.
Yes,
well,
exactly.
From Long
Saratoga
Island
Performing Arts Center up there. Oh, yeah.
Where?
Suffolk County, yeah.
Okay.
I could really tell you still got the accent from Long Island. How long have you been away from that crap hole up there?
Only about 2 years.
I see.
So it's going to take a while to get the New York out of me, if ever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
hard.
Do you go back to Long Island at all?
In the summer, we
why?
go back for a couple of months.
Oh, Nassau County is where all the rich people are. You go all the way out.
Nassau County. We go upstate
I see.
New York.
Very much better.
So
all right.
It's lovely.
Very much better. But I digress, dear. I didn't mean to interrupt your show.
Let's talk about how you got down here and got involved. And
so visiting the Naples area for quite some time before we moved here permanently, I had visited Shy Wolf Sanctuary, and I just fell in love with it. I thought it was just an amazing place, and I really enjoyed being there and learning about the animals and seeing the work that they did. And then through the years, I would just recommend it to friends and family who visited. And then I had the opportunity to join their staff about a year ago. So as the community education coordinator. And it's been wonderful. I've been around to a lot of different communities, and we have great programs that we do at the sanctuary. My colleague does the schools and camps and library programs. So we're really trying to get the word out about Shy Wolf, because like you, a lot of people have not really heard much about it, even though we've been around for quite some time.
Yeah. So how long and what else do they do? Because it's not just wolves. I mean, it's
correct. So we have been around since 1993. That's when the sanctuary was started by our founders, Nancy and Kent Smith, and they have been in animal rescue and rehabilitation for quite some time. So they started out with one animal, an Asian leopard, and one thing led to another, and once word got out that we were one of the few sanctuaries in the area that could provide this type of support to animals. And those animals are really just absolutely remarkable. And so the majority of the animals that we have, although we do have wolves, as our name implies, we service wolf dogs.
Okay.
So that's a very unusual hybrid animal. That's not really a wolf or a dog. And so it is challenging when folks think that they can have one as a pet.
And what else do you have down there?
So we do have a cougar, also known here in Florida as a Florida panther. And they are beautiful animals, threatened here in Florida, obviously.
Now, what we're looking at here, they look like dogs.
So the two animals that this volunteer is interacting with are wolf dogs. So we do have the majority of our animals are wolf dogs, and they can be anywhere from 25% wolf up to 70 or 80% wolf. And so they are very misunderstood. People think they can acquire them as cute little puppies. And then when they realize once they reach sexual maturity that that's not so easy to handle, and their behaviors sometimes become unpredictable. And so that's why they will relinquish them to the sanctuary, or in the unfortunate situation, we do rescue for animals that have been abused and abandoned.
I think that too, people think, I mean, I've always been fascinated with wolves. There's a certain mystique. It's a very cool animal. So I think people want a piece of that. But then when it comes down to feeding, taking care of it, that's a whole different ball game. And they are, and they're not wild, but I mean, they have a lot of wild in them.
Absolutely.
So how likely are that breed to be domesticated, or is this?
So it really does depend. And that's really the challenge when people acquire a wolf dog, a hybrid. They imagine in their mind that they're going to get a tamer version of a wolf.
Mhm.
And that doesn't always happen. Again, the characteristics can really look very dog-like, and they could behave very dog-like, or they could have the characteristics that really lend itself more towards wolf behavior. And that's when the challenge becomes in taking care of them. They are not naturally drawn to people. Many of our wolf dogs over time have developed trusting relationships with our staff and volunteers, but they're not naturally drawn to people. They don't have that level of curiosity. They much rather shy away from people, hence our name, Shy Wolf Sanctuary, than they would to approach a person. So we still see those characteristics in a lot of our wolf dogs, and of course the wolves that we have as well.
Now, how else, you mentioned that an animal might come to you, that someone might relinquish it, or you might have to rescue it. How else might an animal come to be at the sanctuary?
So a variety of ways. We do have calls that come to the sanctuary, animals that have been abandoned, animals who are loose in a community perhaps, and we will go to those areas to rescue that animal. Most recently, we went up to Chicago and rescued a group of animals from Chicago. So when we hear of a situation, we will travel far and wide to rescue those animals and provide a situation for them. And that's a lot better than the situation they were in. Some people will call us, and that's the best case scenario when they realize that they've acquired a wolf dog that they can no longer take care of. Rather than abusing, neglecting, or abandoning it, they will call us and say, "Can you please take the animal?"
When you say acquired it, how did they acquire it?
So wolf dogs are allowed in the state of Florida.
Oh, I see.
Up to a certain percent. You don't need a permit or a license. Once they reach a certain percentage, you do need a license to care for them. So people acquire them the way they acquire any other animals, sometimes through the exotic animal trade, through Craigslist and things of that sort, word of mouth. And they will acquire an animal that they think that they can take care of. We have a prairie dog, we have foxes, we have coyote, we recently got a fennec fox. These are all captive bred exotic animals that folks think they can keep as pets. It doesn't always work out.
I have to say, I saw the video with the prairie dog. It's very cute. I can see how people are like, oh my gosh, it's not so big. They look very entertaining, but it's not something I would, just randomly think of. So did the prairie dog that you have on the video was somebody's pet?
So they tried, but they are not necessarily a cuddly little animal. We do have some of our volunteers that develop a relationship with them and can handle them. We have two of them, Rebecca and Lena, and they are absolutely adorable, and we all love them, but they are from an area out in the Midwest where they live in numbers of tens of thousands of prairie dogs in communities, and so they're really not meant to be in captivity. And yet they live a good life at the sanctuary. So
I'm sure they are living high on the hog there.
Well loved and well fed and well taken care of, but that is not their natural environment.
It almost looks like a husky could get confused with a wolf dog. I mean, how do you know that you're not being sold a wolf when you buy a husky? It looks they could almost be the same kind of animal.
You don't know. And a lot of times there is a confusion.
She didn't say
Did you
it
see
was
her
a good
shaking
question.
her head like it was a good question?
She didn't say it though.
Sometimes there's some verbal, non-verbal communication going on here. Yeah.
Well, it was a good question.
Debbie!
Very nice.
So you don't know. You don't know what you're going to get. And yes, so a lot of our animals come to us, or people call and say, I think I have a wolf. And we do DNA test all of our animals to determine whether or not
you can tell.
And so through the DNA testing.
Through the DNA, yeah.
I mean, how do you know from DNA that it's I don't even understand it. How that works.
Well, the DNA discussion is probably a little broader than we have time for.
Or you were going to say it's a little above my head, was what you were going to say.
But I mean, that's how they do it. just like they
I
do with
know.
humans.
So
how
if
you can figure
if you
out
get a
where
husky,
you're from.
if you
It's
get
like ancestry.com
for
for
dogs.
animals.
if you get a husky and the husky is a puppy and you're getting along and everything's getting along, then all of a sudden it gets aggressive. You think, oh shit, oh crap, I think I might have a wolf.
Maybe.
Or you think that
or
the
maybe
dog's
you
just acting
have
badly.
Right.
You might just have an aggressive husky.
So how does a dog owner know to go get a DNA test?
That's a lot of dog owners
I've never
know
gotten a
about
DNA test. We've had dogs all our lives.
We've never had a reason to go get one.
And it's becoming much more popular now.
Yeah.
So now people
lot of
want to
people
know
do,
when
yeah.
they
I see.
acquire a mixed breed dog, for
Yeah, what's in
example.
there?
What does a DNA test cost for a dog?
I think right now it's about $100 or
Oh,
so.
that's not bad at
Yeah.
all.
And then it's through, I believe, like a saliva swab.
Yeah.
Again, it's more
like a
scientific
COVID
than
test.
I know of. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's sent into the lab, and the lab then sends back to us the DNA of the animal. So it will tell us if the animal's 50% gray wolf, 50% Siberian Husky, perhaps, whatever it is. They
I
are
see.
typically bred with northern breeds,
Mhm.
Siberian Huskies, German Shepherds, those
Male
kinds of
mutes.
animals.
Yeah.
Right, to
Right.
maintain that wolfy kind of look.
Well, I had a Malamute growing up, and we had Huskies, so that's.
You don't
the
know
other
for
thing
sure if
going-
you didn't have part wolf.
Well, that's true.
Well,
but
upstate
mine
New
were
York,
pretty-
you're not getting wolves in upstate New York,
Oh,
though, right?
yeah, you
Are you?
could, yeah.
Huh.
So you've talked about the DNA testing and then flying up to Chicago. How are you able to do this?
Well,
funding
we
wise,
took an RV to Chicago. We didn't fly, so we
no,
went on a road
right,
trip.
but still, how do you afford? How does the sanctuary afford to do that? It's a good question,
It's
right?
a good question.
Oh, hell no. You're not getting any bell for a lead on like that. You can't say that's a good question, right? I mean, come on.
Well,
The
we
gig
are
is
a
up.
nonprofit,
Okay.
Yeah.
obviously, and we really rely on the donation and the generosity of the public. If you do visit us, we ask for a little bit of a donation
Sure.
to visit the sanctuary. We have a number of opportunities whereby we go out into the community, make presentations. There are donations made to us. We do apply for some grants. Our executive director, Deanna Deppin, works very hard to apply for grants to see if we could get funding to care for the animals. But and we look for people to help in other ways. It doesn't necessarily have to be monetarily. We have a whole host of volunteers that help care for the animals and take care of them.
Has anyone ever gotten bit by one of the wolves?
No, there have been a few incidences.
What does that
where,
mean?
Where
Maybe
an animal
nipping?
has shown their teeth, or an animal has backed away
Just showing
from
their
a
teeth.
person.
I see. Then you know it's
Nothing-
probably 75,
Exactly.
80% wolf.
Well, not necessarily, because we do have a wolf dog that's 25 or 26% wolf, and he has a more guarded behavior.
I mean, but there's plenty of dogs that
Shouldn't
have
wo-
that same.
Shouldn't
guarded
all
behavior.
wolves be in the wild?
Well, that's a matter of opinion. In my opinion, I say yes,
Yeah.
because that is their
I'm with
natural
ya.
environment.
Right.
Some people may disagree.
Why would anyone disagree with that?
I think similar to what people say about zoos and things of that sort, we want to be able to know them. We want to be able to learn about them. We want to be able to see them up close. You're probably not going to get really close to a wolf
Right.
in the wild.
Right.
Certainly that would
Or
be a
want to.
challenge. Well, some
I
people
would.
want to.
I would.
Really?
That's
Well,
not
difficult.
close, but I would love to see a wolf in its natural habitat at a safe
Would
distance.
you be one of those goofballs that turned around and tried to take a selfie with the wolf in the back,
No.
and then all of a
no,
sudden the thing's
no.
running at you?
You probably
No.
would never get that close.
I
No.
see.
Because they are very hesitant.
What
to
do they
interact with
What do they
people.
eat the most when they're out in the wild? Like, what can they catch?
They can catch whatever they
Rabbit?
need to. In
No,
order
they
to,
can't catch a gazelle.
Well, they do hunt in packs, so they can.
I mean, gazelles are fast. They're like the fastest. When I was growing up, people used to call me a gazelle because I ran so fast. That's how I know what they
amazing.
are. Thank you. I'm not
I'm
so
sorry.
much a gazelle.
I prepared you.
I'm not so much.
I
I'm not
prepared
so.
you.
I'm not so much a gazelle right now.
Tortoise.
What's a really old gazelle?
They do what they need to do in the wild to
Yeah.
acquire food. At the sanctuary, they are fed an all raw diet,
Mhm.
anywhere from 3 to 5 pounds per animal, 4 times a week. And so that gets to be
Wow.
quite an interesting activity.
How
at
many
the
calories is
sanctuary.
that?
Have no idea. I guess it depends on whether
my.
it's chicken, fish, or beef.
I see.
There you go.
So we've got an annoying viewer that his name is John Lalo, and he wants to know where the sanctuary is. I know that's kind of a silly question. He wouldn't get a bell for that, but we might want to tell people where it is.
So it is located in Naples in the Golden Gate Estate area.
I see.
So we really do not necessarily give out the exact
Right.
location.
I noticed
because
that on
we
the
don't
website.
have an
It's not a
opportunity-
visiting place.
No. Well, you can visit, but it's by appointment.
Mhm.
So because it is a private residence in a private area, residential area, we do not promote walk-ins.
Did you say how many you have down there now?
So on premises, we probably have about 60 animals. And then
Wow.
we do have some volunteers who foster animals in their home.
They're taking a wolf home.
A wolf dog.
Wolf dog. What's
Or
the highest
prairie dog.
percentage you're allowed to take home?
So in our particular sanctuary, we have a wolf dog that's almost 80%.
That
wolf.
you're allowed to take home?
Well, you can't take that.
Yeah,
home.
no kidding. That's
No.
going to eat your dogs.
So
right?
those animals would really need to be protected
Stop
in the sanctuary.
perpetuating this fear thing.
Yeah, when
Stop.
wolves are out in the wild, they're eating anything they can catch,
And
right?
you have to
Okay.
be respectful of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And a fight
Absolutely.
between a black bear, and a wolf, who wins?
Have no idea.
Think wins.
I think if it's one-on-one,
The
The
no,
bear.
it's got to be a pack, though, right?
well,
you
if
got to be
it's a pack
faking
of
out the bear.
wolves, then
No, no.
you know
You got to
they
be
may-
faking out
they
the
may
bear,
do
psyching
it.
out the bear,
But-
and then attack from the other side. It's
But
got
I
to be.
think it's
There's got
gonna
to be.
there's more chance of them running into a grizzly bear where they're located.
Can wolves strategize? Like, do they?
Well, sure.
How do
because
they
have-
communicate with each other?
well, there's a lot of communication. Even at the sanctuary, they will howl.
Oh, they will
certainly
say,
they
"Here comes,
will-
here comes." You know, what's her name with the
Absolutely.
food? Let's all okay,
Absolutely,
cool.
Absolutely. And
Very
you can,
nice.
during the visit, if you come and visit, you can actually go into an enclosure with two of our animals.
Definitely
One
making
of
an
our wait
appointment.
staff showed me a picture of her visit.
Yeah.
She was in with
Angela
two
went.
of our
Yeah.
Yeah.
animals, and you can howl along with them. They
I'm
will.
Oh,
totally doing
They
that.
will
geez.
react.
Did
to
you
that.
howl along with the? Did you howl with you? Did
Yeah.
you do that?
Yeah.
Wow.
See, there's
How did you? Let's hear how you howled.
so how many volunteers do you have?
So we have anywhere from 80 to 100 volunteers
Wow.
during the year.
Holy
Some
moly.
come for season, obviously.
Yeah.
Some come once a month. We have a large group of students that come from the universities to do community service hours. So there's constantly people coming and going into the sanctuary to care for the animals. It's pretty
Now-
remarkable.
You said it's right now it's in a residential area, but you're going to be moving and
That's
have
a
some
good question. So yes, we are.
Reluctantly, I'll give
We
you
have
the bell
just
for that.
closed on our property last week, or this week actually, a couple of days ago, and so we have acquired 17 acres.
Wow.
Also in the Naples
That's nice.
area.
How many acres do you have now?
2.5.
Oh wow, that's going to be great for the wolves.
So it's going to be pretty awesome, and
Dogs.
we're very excited about that, to be able to expand the programs we have.
60 wolves, though. I mean, 60
wolf
wolf
dogs,
dogs.
wolf
and wolves.
dogs and huskies and all the like, and they've come from everywhere, though. Like, what's the furthest away that you have a wolf from?
From my knowledge, probably a wolf dog from the Chicago rescue that we did a number of months ago. But people who have been at the sanctuary a lot longer than I have can probably tell you otherwise.
How do they ship them down? Did you drive the one
She
back
said
in
you
your
went up
RV?
in an RV.
Hey,
Were you
chill
sitting
out.
here?
I heard her say that, but
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was the only way that one got down. Like, are the rest of them from around here?
Many from the Florida area or around the surrounding states, but that particular trip was an RV.
There's no such thing as the wild left in Florida. It's
In
just all
Florida, no.
construction everywhere.
Well, that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Even we also have coyote, and we have a
I see.
bobcat, and obviously the cougar that's known here as the Florida panther.
Uh-huh.
They're
Now-
being pushed out of their
Oh,
natural
yeah.
territories.
It's terrible.
here.
I was out running. We live out in Gateway, and there's a power line. And
Oh, here she goes bragging about her running.
no,
now.
no. And I was out there running a long time ago, and a small coyote came
Yeah.
out. You know,
My
I mean,
neighbor
they're
told me
smaller.
the other day he was
than you
out
would
walking his dog, and a coyote ran
Yep.
down the
Mm.
street.
There was one time I was driving to work, and I was up by Stony Brook where the kids and I think something must have been wrong because that one was going wow, that bird is crazy. Was going all over the place.
Do you have birds too? I mean, these birds are crazy.
We
Can
don't
you-
have birds that we provide sanctuary for, but we have birds that
come
fly
Can you
in
take
and
these
out.
birds with you today and feed them to the coyotes? Because these birds are killers.
I think
Stop.
they
Yeah,
like
these
living
birds.
here. They're getting good breakfast.
Oh man,
Yeah.
these birds really. There needs
Just
to be
took a bite
something.
of my biscuit.
These birds come inside the restaurant and grab food off the plate. There needs to be some kind of like extermination of those birds, or at least there needs to be a way to push them
Stop.
out.
Oh,
How do you
boy.
push the
They're
birds
very
out?
smart. They know where to get
Yeah.
food.
Yeah. They're
like the
reinforced.
animals that go through.
Look at
like
that. Look at
coyotes
that.
and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Did you ever
They
see
know
the
where to
movie
get
The
food.
Birds?
I did.
That's what that looks like right now. There are
There's
so
just-
many of them just
There's
waiting
three
to
of
come
them there.
inside.
Oh, stop. They're
I
going
mean,
to come. Oh, see, now that's getting upset with
They
you.
are getting upset.
They hear
That
you
was
talking about
yeah.
them.
So where were we?
Well, I was going to ask a question about a little bit about, commonly wolves were in Yellowstone. Then they got almost to extinction out there and had to be repopulated out there.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about?
There's a lot of controversy going on there about what's
I
happening.
said I
with the
wouldn't
wolf
get political,
population.
so just a little bit.
Yeah, so they were getting to be extinct, and they became
Endangered,
for-
probably. Yeah.
right, and now fortunately repopulated, as you said. But now there have been some restrictions lifted that are allowing kind of open hunting on wolves because there's no fencing around
Right.
Yellowstone. So as they venture out.
Right.
To other areas, they stumble across a
Cattle,
ranch or
yep.
a farm.
All right, wait a
and-
second. Now, how do they? Yellowstone's like a national park,
Correct.
right? So
and they're
how?
protected within the boundaries of the national
So how did they
park.
become extinct in the park? Were people killing them in the park?
Once they leave the park?
Well, that's just dumb on them then, right? I mean, why are they leaving the
Well,
park?
I don't think they know.
I mean, so people once they leave the park, people were killing them because they were afraid of them, or they were getting
Well,
on their
they were-
property, or eating their
Eating their
livestock.
livestock,
I
yeah.
see.
Eating their livestock.
It's
which
a
of course
crazy
is
world
their
we live in.
livelihood.
Right.
It's survival of the fittest, I guess, right?
And there's been some terrible stories about what's going on out in Yellowstone.
Like, what do you
So-
mean?
Well, just the numbers of animals that are being destroyed. It's really heartbreaking.
Because they're all leaving the park?
in some cases, yeah, that's the primary areas where they are being hunted.
Why
And
don't
they're
they?
way up in the northern part of the park.
Isn't
which is
Yellowstone
why
like a
people don't-
gigantic park?
It's huge.
It's huge.
Then why don't
I
they
think
just
it
put?
encompasses like 3 states.
Yeah,
It's
I-
huge.
Why don't
it's
they put
huge.
like an electric dog fence around it so that they can't get out?
I don't think the national park system would prefer.
What?
No, I
that
mean they
because
should do that. Like
it would
they.
then close it in, perhaps.
Well, don't they want to save the? Oh, forget it. It's a whole different show, I guess. Like
That's
we're
right.
way off the subject here. So you guys are gonna have 17 acres
Correct.
somewhere close by to where you
A
are.
little bit north of where we are, or
Okay.
right off of Immokalee Road, so kind of on
Oh,
the
yeah,
border
yeah, yeah.
of Naples and Bonita.
So 17 acres in Florida you're not finding that cheap.
Well, no.
Was it
but
donated?
It's no, it was purchased.
I see.
But through the donation of people and the generosity of people, then we were able to acquire that property.
Nice.
One of the really great features about the property is that there will be a building on the premises that is going to be hurricane resistant, wildfire resistant. So if we have to evacuate our animals to a safe location, we can do that right on our own property. We can't do that now.
Uh-huh.
So you can imagine how challenging it is
Yeah.
to evacuate animals.
Oh.
Wow.
You can't just leash up a cougar and walk them off the property into somebody's car.
Right,
It's
right.
it's quite a task. So that's really going to provide.
How did you get
safety
into
for the
this? Like,
animals.
what's your background that all of a sudden you're protecting wolves from the?
So my background is in education, and the whole idea of education of the community. Once you're a teacher or an educator, you kind of feel that you about anything. Just my interest in
What was
it.
your main teaching subject area?
So I was in special education.
Oh wow! Did you
and
know
then
that?
I didn't.
You see,
Yes.
she didn't do a
Yeah.
research like I did.
I
She doesn't know how to ask the prodding questions. She's in the same kind of field now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you really?
You guys should have
Oh,
coffee
you have a
after the
good
show.
heart then.
Oh well, thank
Oh,
you.
kind of.
Yeah.
He challenges it.
Yeah.
I mean, he really stretches
Did you say
it
she
out
had a
there.
heart?
Yes.
Oh,
a good
okay,
heart.
gotcha. Just want to make sure I heard that
Absolutely.
correctly.
Work with
Yeah.
children with special needs and
Oh, she has a 5-day-a-week heart. I see.
Yeah.
I see. That's what you meant by that. 5-day-a-week. Oh,
but,
so
but that's that is part of our education program. We
Mhm.
also, speaking of hearts, we have a program called Healing Hearts, and we do provide an opportunity for adults and children who are experiencing some life challenges and life crisis to come to the sanctuary for
Cool.
respite.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we have had Wounded Warriors and Youth Haven and the Children's Network and the Women's Shelter and Star Ability. The list goes on. They come to us. We provide them with an opportunity to just kind of be
Mhm.
and be part of that wonderful environment in the sanctuary. And then we have a little snack or a little lunch, and the kids get a little goodie bag and they get to take pictures with the wolf dogs. And it really is a wonderful opportunity to give back to the community.
Now, when you get your new place, do you think you would ever expand to have places where people could stay for a couple of days? Because I know out in Utah, they have Best Friends Animal Sanctuary.
Right.
And I went out there. I didn't get to stay overnight, but I went and toured. And but they have a program where you come and stay, and then they have an animal that you can. Now, granted, these are different dogs, cats, whatever, what have you. But any plans for that? Would that be
as far
something?
as residential opportunities, I think that we are hoping to work with some of the universities to provide an internship experience where perhaps people in training programs can stay on the property. But there's so much discussion as to what the final plans will look like and how that property will be utilized.
Yeah. Well, I imagine there's a difference of liability with, a domestic cat and a wolf dog.
Correct. So,
How long did it take you to get here from Naples?
about 50 minutes.
Wow.
Wasn't too bad.
Well, you're way down. You're like in the South Naples,
Right. Just on the border of the Everglades, really.
And so when you guys open up, will there be more opportunity for people to come compared to the way it is now? It's by appointment. Will they be more like a...
We're hoping
to,
get more people out to the sanctuary. Right now, our groups are small.
Yeah.
And that really lends itself to a lot of the education component where we can really talk to folks about what we do.
Do you think you'll increase the number of wolfy kind of animals you have?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because you'll have 17 acres.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
when
it'll
do you
provide
think
a bigger area for
Did you ever think of doing a game like, for like $1 million donation? Somebody can just, all the wolves, or you let them all go. And then somebody runs from one end
Is this like running with the bulls?
No. Somebody runs from, they have to get from one end of the camp to the other then and not die.
I don't
Something
think
like
we
that.
would promote that.
No?
No.
I mean,
That's
then
a
you would really
bad
figure out
idea.
how to
I'm
see
taking
which,
back all
then
your
you would be able to
bell
see
rings.
which wolves are more aggressive and which ones are pet worthy.
I don't think we would want to put the animals or the people
Yeah.
for that
Sorry.
matter
Yeah.
in that
Sorry.
stressful situation.
You could call it wolf game or, maybe
But we'll
not.
take the $1 million donation.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
out the game.
Yeah, there you
being
go.
in Naples, I'm sure there's a few
there's
people
some.
down there that have
Yeah.
some Monet, right? Yeah.
When do you think the sanctuary? How long do you think it'll take to get
Funding
No
is going to be a
predict-
key.
okay.
What's the goal?
Probably 3 to 5 years in developing it completely.
Yeah, time flies
but
though.
And it might be incrementally.
right?
So we hope really now that the work is done to acquire the property, the hard work comes in
Yeah.
to develop.
How
it
many
and
different
raise
buildings you gonna plan on putting up?
there's really a lot of different opportunities for buildings, perhaps a visitor center and an education
Nice.
building and things of that sort. So there's a lot of really good discussion about what that's going to look
Cool.
like. And there's some preliminary
What's the
plans.
dollar amount goal? Do you have they set that yet of what you need?
Not exactly, but it
Okay.
is in the multi-million dollar
Yeah,
range.
come on, you cheapskates in Naples. Break open the wallets. I mean,
Please
I was
do.
reading a story. There's a story in the news press today about this new giant house. Did you see it? That was just built on Randy Lane down here on
I
Fort Myers.
read
It was
about
like $3
that.
million or $6 million. They couldn't figure out how to make the renovations work after a few years of trying and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they just decided let's just knock it down and
Start over.
and it's not even on the beach. It's on a it's
Wow.
on the
Did
it's
read about that.
yeah.
So if someone has some extra
yeah,
money
mean-
that they would like to provide to
You're
Shy
saving the
Wolf, we'd be
animals,
happy to
people.
take
You're
it.
saving the animals.
Absolutely.
Forget about the people. I
Absolutely.
shouldn't say that, but
No.
And we'll have
Save the
some naming
animals.
opportunities as well,
Yeah.
Nice.
where things can be in your name, and you can have those opportunities
sell
to
some
sponsor
bricks.
animals.
you know what
Sure.
I noticed in Florida, especially down here in Southwest Florida, people are very generous.
Absolutely.
They give away to a lot of causes. They last week we had the King Foundation, Alex King.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about? Do you know Alex?
No.
Oh, you should get to know Alex King. He gave 10,000. Was it 10 or 20? $20,000 to the arches to rebuild the arches on our show yesterday. It was just out of the blue.
Not
he came
yesterday,
in
last
week.
week.
Well, you know what I
Beautiful.
mean. Yesterday.
Beautiful.
I feel like these shows flow one into
the
another.
information
She's
for
kicking me
people
now.
to come down.
Sure. So you can visit our website, shywolfsanctuary.org. There's a ton of information on that website. There's stories about the animals, how the animals came to us. There's videos and little clips, educational clips. There's tabs to volunteer, to donate, to learn about the fundraising programs that we have, to learn about our other programs, and to make a reservation to visit.
It would be
So
cool to
that's the
do a
best
show
way.
from your place someday.
Yeah.
That would be
Love it.
awesome.
We
That'd
would
be
love it.
awesome.
Oh, that would be
Yeah.
That would be really great.
Well, thank you so much for driving all the way down here, and I hope you guys stay for breakfast. And
They are.
your husband's out there
I
taking
know, he's,
pictures,
like,
and
moving
yeah,
around
he's
around
he's
here.
got He's just filled with
She
energy.
was saying that I prepared her for your kind
Why
of
do you
sense
do that?
of
Why do you
humor.
tell all the guests before the show that they
And
need to watch out?
She said he has quite a sarcastic sense of humor.
Oh,
so.
good. Well,
I got
All
him
right.
to drive me here because I said I'd buy him breakfast.
oh,
There
there
we
you go.
go.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you,
Thank you
so
so
much,
much.
and
Thank you
good
so
luck with
much for the
everything.
Yes, good
opportunity.
luck.
It's great fun. Thank
Yes,
you.
Thank you
All right,
so
everybody,
much.
make sure you check out the sanctuary online and give some of your hard-earned money if you can. And before we get to our next guest, I need to tell you about the Friends of the Arts. You know, the concert is coming up. There they are right there, the Girls of Motown. They're the next concert in the Rockin' the Bay Winter Concert Series, which is January the 13th. The Girls of Motown. Check them out. They got the satin going and everything. And after the January 13th concert, they have Earth to Mars, which is the Bruno Mars Experience. On March the 10th, they have Faithfully, a Journey and Eagles tribute. On April the 14th, Shania Twain.